Namaskar. Today we will discuss about Shri Aurobindo's philosophy and spiritual vision. I am Rajni Meena, Assistant Professor, Government College Rawatwata. Introduction. Shri Aurobindo's concept of the integral yoga system is described in his book The Synthesis of Yoga and Life Divine. The Life Divine is a compilation of essays published serially in Arya. Sri Aurobindo argues that a divine Brahman manifests as empirical reality through Leela or divine play. Instead of posting that the word be experienced is an illusion, means Maya, Aurobindo argues that word can evolve and become a new word with the new species, far above the human species, just as human species have evolved after the animal species. As such, he argued that the end of goal of spiritual practice could not merely be a liberation from the world into samadhi, but would also be that of descent of the divine into the world in order to transform it from into a divine existence. Thus, this constituted the purpose of integral yoga. Regarding the involution of conscience in matter, he wrote that this descent, this sacrifice of the Purusha, the divine soul, submitting itself to force and matter so that it may inform and illustrate them, is the seed of redemption of this world of conscience, inconscience, and ignorance. Sri Aurobindo believed that Darwinism merely describes a phenomena of the evolution of matter into life but does not explain the reason behind it. While he finds life to be already present in matter, because all of existence is a manifestation of Brahman, he argues that nature has evolved life out of matter and mind out of life. All of existence, he argues, is attempting to manifest to the level of the supermind that evolution had a purpose. He stated that he found the task of understanding the nature of reality arduous and difficult to justify by immediate tangible results. Supermind. At the center of Aurobindo's metaphysical system is the supermind, an intermediary power between the unmanifested Brahman and the manifested word. Aurobindo claims that the supermind is not completely alien to us and can be realized within ourselves as it is always present within mind, since the latter is in reality identical with the former and contains it as a potentiality within itself. Aurobindo does not portray supermind as an original invention of his own, but believes it can be found in the Vedas and that the Vedic gods represent powers of the supermind. In the integral yoga, he declares that by the supermind is meant the full truth consciousness of the divine nature, in which there can be no place for the principle of division and ignorance. It is always a full light and knowledge superior to all mental substance or mental movement. Supermind is a bridge between Satchidananda and the lower manifestation, as and it is only through the supernatural that mind, life, body can be spiritually transformed as opposed to through Satchidananda. The descendant of supermind will mean the creation of a supramental race. Affinity with Western philosophy. In his writings, talk, letters, Sri Aurobindo has referred to several European philosophers with whose basic concepts he was familiar, commenting on their ideas and discussing the question of affinity to his own line of thought. Thus, he wrote a long essay on the Greek philosopher Heraclitus and mentioned especially Plato, Plotinus, Nietzsche, and Bergson as thinkers in whom he was interested because their more intuitive approach. On the other hand, he felt little attraction for the philosophy of Kant and Hegel. Several studies have shown a remarkable closeness to the evolutionary thought of Teilhard de Chardin, whom he did not know, whereas the latter came to know of Sri Aurobindo at a late stage. After reading some chapter of the Life Divine, he is reported to have said that Sri Aurobindo's vision of evolution was basically the same as his own, though stated for Asian readers. Several scholars have discovered significant similarities in the thought of Sri Aurobindo and Hegel. Steve Auden has discussed this subject comprehensively in a comparative study. Auden writes that Sri Aurobindo has appropriated Hegel's notion of an absolute spirit and employed it to the radically restructure the architectonic framework of the ancient Hindu Vedanta system in contemporary terms. In his analysis, Odin arrives at the conclusion that both philosophers similarly envision world creation as the progressive self manifestation and evolutionary ascent of a universal consciousness in its journey towards self realization. He points out that, in contrast to deterministic and continuous dialectical unfolding of absolute region by the mechanism of thesis, antithesis, synthesis, or affirmation, negation, and integration, Sri Aurobindo argues for a creative emergent mode of evolution. In his resume, Odin states that Sri Aurobindo has overcome the historical world vision of traditional Hinduism and presented a concept which allows for a genuine advance and novelty. Importance of Upanishads. Although Sri Aurobindo was familiar with the most important lines of thought in Western philosophy, he did not acknowledge their influence on their own writings. He wrote that his philosophy was formed first by the study of Upanishads and the Gita. They were the basis of my first practice of yoga. Within the help of his readings, he tried to move on to actual experience, and it was on this experience that later on I founded my philosophy not on ideas themselves. He assumes that the seers of the Upanishads had basically the same approach and gives some details of his vision of past in a long passage in the Renaissance of India have been the acknowledged source of numerous profound philosophies and religions. He writes even Buddhism with all its developments was only a restatement from a new standpoint and with fresh terms, and after furthermore the ideas of the Upanishads can be rediscovered in much of the thought of Pythagoras and Plato and the form of profound part of Neoplatonism and Gnosticism. Finally, the larger part of German metaphysics is little more in substance than an intellectual development of great realities, more more spiritually seen in this ancient teaching. When once he was asked by a disciple whether Plato got some of his ideas from Indian books, he responded that though something of his philosophy of India got through by means of Pythagoras and others. He assumes that Plato got most of his ideas from institutions. Sri Aurobindo's indebtedness to the Indian tradition also becomes obvious through his placing a larger number of quotations from the Rig Veda, the Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita at the beginning of the chapters in the Life Divine, showing the connection of his own thoughts to Veda and Vedanta. The Isha Upanishads is considered to be one of the most important and more accessible writing of Sri Aurobindo. Before he published his final translation and analysis, he wrote 10 incomplete commentaries. In a key passage, he points out that the Brahman of Absolute is both the stable and the moving. We must see it in the internal and immutable spirit and in all the challenging manifestations of universe and relativity. Sri Aurobindo's biographer K.S. Iyengar quotes R.S. Mugli as stating that Sri Aurobindo might have obtained in this Upanishads the thought seed which later grew into the life divine. Synthesis and integration. Shishir Kumar Mitra has referred to the issue of external influences and written that Sri Aurobindo does not mention names. Sri Aurobindo does not mention names, but as one reads his books, one cannot fail to notice how through in his grasp of the great Western philosophers of the present age. He has made full use of Western thoughts, but he has made use of it for the purpose of building up his own system. Matra sees Sri Aurobindo not only in the tradition and context of Indian but also Western philosophy and assumes he may have adopted some elements from the later of his synthesis. R. Puligantla supports his viewpoint in his book Fundamentals of Indian Philosophy. He describes Sri Aurobindo's philosophy as an original synthesis of the Indian and Western traditions. He integrates in a unique fashion the great social, political, scientific achievement of the modern West with the ancient and profound spiritual insight of Hinduism. The vision that powers the life divine of Aurobindo is none other than the Upanishadic vision of the unity of all existence. Sri Aurobindo was an Indian nationalist, but is best known for his philosophy on human evolution and integral yoga. Sri Aurobindo influenced Subhash Chandra Bose to take an initiative of dedicating to Indian national movement full time. Bose writes, the illustrational example of Aurobindo Ghosh looms large before my vision. I feel that I am ready to make the sacrifice which that example demands of me. Thank you so much for watching this video.